Coverage with News Channel 5's Jeff Skrypek. He's live in Jupiter. Jeff, is it busy there? Now that people are, the workday's starting to end, I would imagine it would pick up.
Absolutely, Kelly. In just the last hour that we've been out here standing talking with voters, that number of people coming out to one of the busiest precincts of all of Palm Beach County has really ticked up. Managers say that number has climbed from 230 to 260, and they'll say they continue to see that number rise as people get off work to come here to pick their favorite Republican nominee. Weeks of trading jabs during debates, rallying support through speeches at visits, and shaking hands and smiling wide. The day of the Florida primary has come, a time for candidates to sit back and let voters make their choice.
We're voting for Romney.
Rick Santorum.
Newt Gingrich.
I voted for Ron Paul.
Outside Independence Middle School, where the Abacoa precinct votes, it's the polling place with the largest number of registered Republicans. It's no wonder we quickly found 4 different people voting for 4 different candidates. So what led them to their decision?
I voted for Newt Gingrich because I feel like he's the most knowledgeable of all the candidates.
Janet Kozan says she's always liked Newt Gingrich from his prior experiences in Washington.
I think Romney is the most electable of all the candidates, and I think that he'll carry quite a few independents.
Barry Guilford liked Romney because she feels he has the best chance at unseating President Obama.
I voted for the one I respect the most, and that's actually Rick Santorum. So whether he's got a chance or not, I don't know, but I just have the most respect for him.
Rick Kohlberg, like William Morris, voted for their candidates they liked despite the polls.
I like his view of limited government. I agree with that.
Morris says it might be his only shot at voting for the man he likes. Now, we continue to see a steady stream of voters showing up. We just saw one here drop someone off to go inside and vote. If you haven't voted yet, you have less than an hour to get your ballots in. All these polling places here and elsewhere in Florida all close at 7. Now, we're not the only one right now outside of a polling place. We have team coverage on the Treasure Coast. WPTV News Channel 5 reporter John Shaman's on the Treasure Coast to give us a live look in on what's going on up north. John?
Well, good evening, Jeff. We are outside the Martin County Election Center, and here on the Treasure Coast, the numbers are solid, if not quite up to 2008 levels. But you might recall there were some big property tax referendums on the agenda back in 2008. Still, voter turnout is pretty good as we go from Indian River County down through St. Lucie County and here to Martin County. This is the first big election for Indian River County Supervisor of Elections, Leslie Swan. We caught up with her as she was hitting all 22 county polling places, down from 35 a few years ago.
So we're saving quite a bit of money by consolidating the locations. And I've been pleasantly surprised today because we haven't heard a lot of people that have gone to the wrong polling locations.
Swan predicts about a 50% turnout for her county.
So they do a search for a voter.
In St. Lucie County, today was the debut of the EVID, or Electronic Voter ID System. It's an effort to prevent voter fraud and speed voters through the lines. Election Supervisor Gertrude Walker predicting about a 45% voter turnout, down from 54% in 2008.
We're having a very steady turnout, but not what I would call high turnout. But I think we'll make our projection.
Did not check the wrong box. It says Republican Party here.
In Martin County, we ran into disgruntled voter Ronnie Scammell. She was trying to vote in her first Florida primary since moving here 2 years ago and discovered somehow after renewing her license, her party affiliation changed from Republican to NPA.
So I've been totally denying my rights as a voter, and it's not right.
Martin Supervisor of Elections Vicki Davis says voters need to make sure everything matches up before they head to the polls.
There have been some disappointed people today. We mailed out voter information cards countywide in the month of November and asked voters to please look at the information to make sure it was correct.
A voter turnout here in Martin County expected to be about 40%. We're live in Stewart. John Shaman, WPTV News Channel 5.
The Romney campaign has turned Florida into an exercise in raw political power. Far more money, organization, and manpower brought to bear for what Romney hopes will be a decisive primary win tonight. News Channel 5's Evan Axelbanks live at his Tampa headquarters with the mood there. Evan?
Well, Michael, for months now, we've been hearing from his supporters in Palm Beach County and around the state that their organization was designed to get out the vote today. They have an extensive organization of people ready to bring people on buses, cars, whatever it takes to get those people, those supporters, those potential supporters to the polls. Also, we have seen a tremendous barrage of ads that Mitt Romney and his allies have unleashed in the last couple of weeks, and he has very solid poll numbers. So why not be confident today? Take a look. Mitt Romney earlier on today meeting with his volunteers and supporters at a final campaign rally here in Tampa. It is his last campaign rally of the season, and he helped call potential voters on the phone to ask for their last-minute support. Now, after losing in South Carolina a few weeks ago, the Romney camp unleashed a slew of TV ads that attacked Newt Gingrich hard. Romney spent more money, for example, here in Florida alone than John McCain spent in all of the primary states combined in 2008. What impact did those ads that you saw have?
It did affect me somewhat, I would say.
If Romney wins by 10 or 12% tonight, I think that's going to set the stage for the rest of it, and I think it's going to be all over.
And you can see here the tremendous crush of media that has descended here on the Tampa Convention Center. We're seeing probably dozens, if not hundreds, of media outlets here today. Media has arrived from all over the country, and you can see straight there in the middle of the room, that's where Mitt Romney will be standing tonight when he hopes that he will be declaring victory. And indeed, tonight is such a big deal. I just saw a quote from Senator Marco Rubio, the Republican of Florida, and he says that whoever wins tonight, his prediction is that the winner tonight will go on to become the Republican nominee for President of the United States. We're live tonight in Tampa. Evan Axelbank, WPTV News Channel 5.
Newt Gingrich vows he is fighting all the way to the GOP convention in Tampa this summer, no matter the outcome tonight. He and his supporters will be in Orlando this evening. And we continue our team coverage with News Channel 5's Alex Sands, live there with the latest. Alex?
And good evening from Rosen Center here in Orlando. Kelly, where behind me the stage is being set right now for Newt Gingrich, who is due here in just a few hours after what has been another long day of campaigning here across Central Florida. In fact, a short time ago, he was wrapping things up with voters not too far from here. Again, pushing his message, saying he is the person who needs this nomination to become president later on this year. Of course, a lot has happened over the past several months and the last several days here in Florida. He had that surge heading out of South Carolina, but when he got to Florida, he was outspent, outmatched, and that caused trouble for a lot of folks in his campaign. They were concerned about how things could shake out, and the most recent polls do show that Mitt Romney has the advantage heading into tonight, possibly between 8 and 15 percentage points. That is strong momentum, but that said, Newt Gingrich says he plans to press on into the fall, into the convention, and he says whatever happens tonight, he will continue fighting over the next several months.
I think, look, this is a long campaign, and if you watch tonight, the conservatives are clearly going to outpoll Romney. There's no clear path for Romney to get to a majority.
As you know, as we showed you yesterday here on News Channel 5, several prominent figures have come out in support of Newt Gingrich here in Central Florida and in Southwest Florida. Herman Cain, his endorsement on Saturday. Michael Reagan, the son of former President Ronald Reagan, also coming out in support of him, saying these are the kinds of people he needs to come forward to answer those ongoing questions about who is a true conservative in this race. Newt Gingrich says he is. Of course, will the voters agree with that? We'll know in just a few hours. Alex Sands, WPTV News Channel 5.
And in Florida's winner-take-all primary, Rick Santorum and Ron Paul have ceded the vote essentially to the two frontrunners. They have spent the day campaigning in Colorado and Nevada.